Happy Friday. I'll sit here for just a second and wait on everybody to kind of see that we're on live. Have a bunch to cover today, and it's been a minute since I have been on Facebook and doing a live with you guys. The holidays got really busy, and so I really didn't have space to be able to get on here. But I definitely wanted to take a few minutes to get some news out to you guys, tell you about things that are going on with us, and talk a little bit about what you may have seen in social media land about pet food, because it is getting rather confusing out there and a little bit hard to decipher truth from social media rumor. And know that we're always here kind of keeping a thumb on everything that's going on and paying attention, doing our research, and trying to navigate the uncharted waters of the pet food industry for our customers so that you guys can know that we're on top of all of the latest and greatest that's out there for our customers and all the news that's out there for the pets that live in the homes of our customers. Because I'm sure, just like you guys, my pets are my family. I have 7 dachshunds and I love each one of them. And, every time we lose one, I get so heartbroken. So keeping them as healthy as we possibly can is really important to me and really important to my family. And I know you guys feel the same way about your pets. So while we kind of wait on some people to join us, I wanted to tell you guys about our boxes this month. So this is the dog box, the Bonafactor box. If you're not familiar with our subscription boxes, they're pretty awesome and really, really cool. But this month's theme is a mystery. So each box is different and contains all kinds of fun things. And even though they're all mystery, I'm going to show you kind of what one might look like. So this is the dog box, and you can see it is pretty much full to the brim. See, I'm going to turn it. I'm terrible at this camera thing. But you can see a lot of fun stuff in there. There's a pumpkin pouch. But you're always guaranteed in our boxes to get at least twice the value of what you pay. So the cost to subscribe is $19.99 a month. And the cost to just get one box is $24.99. But you're always guaranteed to at least have $40 worth of value in each box. And you may get a box and there may be something that your pet doesn't like or something that your pet may be sensitive to, and that can happen. But here's the deal. There are plenty of rescue organizations to donate those items to. So if you get a box and there's something that you can't get through or your pet doesn't like, you can always bring it back to us and we will donate it to a rescue organization or take it over to the animal shelter for them to use. So the whole point of these boxes, they have a philanthropic nature to them. So a portion of each purchase gets added to our monthly roundup for our monthly charity. And then if you get an item that you don't like or your pet doesn't like or your pet's sensitive to, bring it to us and we will donate it to a charity, or you can donate it to your favorite charity. It's the perfect thing. This is the cat one. And again, the same thing. This is their generosity boxes. And oh my gosh, this one's so heavy. It is so incredibly heavy. And as you see, full to the brim. And I mean, really, just those 2 bags right there are the value of this whole box for $19.99. But you see, there's so much more in here. Let me hold this up. There's so much more in here. There are cans, there are pouches to try with your cats, all kinds of good stuff. And every month has a different theme. So I will reveal the February theme in a couple of weeks. But this month was the mystery theme. So every box is different. And we do have some left available for sale. So you can come and visit our store and tell them you want to buy a subscription box and they can hook you up. But they're awesome boxes, really, really awesome boxes. So be sure to check out our subscription boxes and keep a lookout for me to come back for our February boxes. They're really awesome. And I will say Valerie, who is our High Point Road manager, came up with the theme for our February boxes, and they're really cool. And most boxes do come with a toy of some sort. We didn't start out doing that, but we have started adding a toy to every box. Okay, so what you may have seen in the news is a lot about Purina pet food. And Purina Pro Plan in particular has been talked about a lot recently, making pets sick. And I'm not going to tell you that it's not true. I'm not going to tell you that it is true. I'm going to tell you that it is currently not confirmed. And there are a lot of pet parents out there who feel like their pets have been affected by Purina pet food, specifically the Purina Pro Plan. And it's definitely possible. I know that a lot of foods are currently at independent laboratories being tested so that they can see and confirm what might be the problem. And one of the things I will tell you, we do not carry Purina Pro Plan. And we try very hard not to carry any products made by huge conglomerates like Nestle or Mars, although we have some products that have recently been acquired by those organizations. But we do try to stay away from large corporations. And one of the main reasons is quality control and sourcing. And so we find that the smaller brand names tend to have better quality control and better sourcing. And we also are able to kind of reach the top pretty quickly. So if you follow along with my Facebook Lives, you may have seen me interview Dave Ratner in December. And Dave Ratner owns Dave's Pet Food, which we sell here at our store location. They are canned foods and dry food. And one of the things I love about carrying Dave's Pet Food is because if I have a problem today with Dave's Pet Food, if I have a customer who comes in and says, hey, I've had this issue and I am really frustrated with Dave's Pet Food, I can literally walk to my office, pick up the phone, and I can call Dave and I can say, this is Allison calling from All Pets Considered in Greensboro. And Dave goes, how are you doing? What's going on? Tell me about your store, tell me what's going on at your stores, and I can tell him about my concerns about pet food. And he will not only immediately get on it, but he will immediately respond to me with the information he's gathered so far. He will hold meetings about it until he gets to the bottom of what's causing the issue. That is the kind of trust that I want to have in the pet food that I feed to my animals. I want to be able to say, I know the person who formulates this food. I know the person who owns this pet food company, and I can feel confident in what their sourcing is, and make sure that they're sourcing human grade food or ingredients to go in their pet food. So at the end of the day, I try to steer clear of Purina products well before all of this started. We were not recommenders. Oh my goodness, something just hit that window. Can you go check?
Yeah.
I have no idea what that is, but that was scary. I am sorry. That was terrifying. No? That could not have been the wind. It could have been. Oh, that was terrifying. Okay, maybe a dead bird. Huh, things happen. Okay, maybe a bird. Whew. Trying to fly into our artwork on the windows. But anyway, so when we know more about the problems that we're seeing, we can certainly follow up with you guys and let you know what evidence is found. It is starting to involve some foods that we do carry, things like Taste of the Wild, Stella and Chewy's. I'm trying to think, Acana and Origin, I think, may have been on the list as well. But this doesn't necessarily mean that there are problems with the food, because one of the things that I would like to point out is that while we talk about pet foods causing health issues, some of what can cause those health issues are also us and not necessarily the food itself. And when I was talking to a customer recently about this, she was stunned to know these things, because she said, nowhere on the pet food package does it say this. And it's not something that seems to be common knowledge. So we're going to talk about how to store your food, how much to buy at a time, and what happens when pet food goes bad. And does pet food go bad? So if you're buying dry kibble, one of the things that I say is buy the amount of kibble you need to feed within 28 days. As soon as that bag opens, it is exposed to air and the clock starts ticking. So when dry kibble is made, it is cooked in a process usually called extrusion method, which is cooked at a fairly high temperature, and it is sprayed with oils. Those oils at the end generally contain some vitamins and minerals, some omegas, which are really fragile and don't stand up to the heat process the kibble has to be cooked at. So they spray it on afterwards so that your pet gets some of the omegas that it needs, although I recommend an omega supplement too. But as soon as you open that bag of food and it is exposed to air, immediately those oils start breaking down. And within 28 days, those oils will be expired. They are very fragile and they can go rancid pretty quickly. And so you need to not purchase a big bag of food, a big 40-pound bag of food for a Maltese that's going to take them 3 months to eat. Because by the time you get to the end of that bag of food, your pet's going to get sick. And it's not the fault of the food. It's the fault of the storage method. It is the fault of the air being exposed to the air and the oils going rancid. The other thing I'm going to tell you is that storage is a big component in this too. So a lot of the storage containers that are provided are plastic, and they make it conducive to you just pouring the bag of food in. This woman came in, she was speaking to me a couple of weeks ago, telling me, I was feeding this brand. It wasn't a brand of food that we carry, but it's a good brand. And it started making my pet sick. I got one bag and it made my pet sick. And so then I got another bag and it made my pet sick. And we started going down the line. I said, well, how do you store that food? And she said, well, in a plastic container. I said, do you wash the container out in between? She said, well, no. I never thought about that. I wash their bowls every day, but I never thought about washing the container. Well, if you get one bag of food that's rancid or the oils are rancid and then you put another bag of food in there, those rancid oils are still in there. They're still on the sides of the food container. So I recommend, the food storage I recommend is going to be taking a storage container that can be airtight, leaving the bag of food in the bag and putting it in the storage container. Here is why. Pet food bags have been scientifically tested to keep pet food fresh. And so if you keep it in the bag, it's going to stay fresher, and then you put it in an airtight container. I still recommend washing out the airtight container in between bags of food, even though you're not putting the actual food in the plastic container. The other thing I will say is that the plastic will leach chemicals that are reactive with the oils that are in the pet food that will cause a chemical reaction and can make some pets sick as well. So pet food storage is huge and can contribute to mysterious pet illnesses if you're not handling the pet food properly. And I get that a bigger bag of food may be cheaper per pound and you may think, I want to buy a 40-pound bag for my 5-pound Maltese because it's cheaper for me to feed my pet that way. But it's not healthy for that 5-pound Maltese to be eating food that's been exposed to air for 3 months. So consider how you store this pet food. Consider how long the pet food is open, and consider how you're storing it and what you're storing it in. The other benefit to keeping it in the bag is that if there is ever a recall, which there can be pet food recalls, even on the products we carry, if there is a pet food recall, you can easily refer back to the bag for the lot code and the date code to see if your pet food bag that you purchased is going to be involved in the recall. You have all of that information still there versus pouring it out to a container and throwing away the bag. If you do that, not only can we not take the pet food back if it's under the recall, but we don't have the date and lot code information to be sure that you're involved or to know if you're involved. So if it makes your pet sick and we don't have the date code and the lot code, then we can't give that information to the pet food companies and report it as an illness. That kind of information is certainly tracked. And so you definitely want to keep the bag. What if you put dry food in the fridge or freezer? Just curious. You can put it in the freezer. Not necessarily. I would not keep it in the freezer for 3 months because it can become freezer burnt and can collect crystals. And so then when you defrost it and keep it out, it's going to make it moist, which will breed mold and things like that. So I don't really recommend the freezer just because it can add moisture to it in a way. And then when you do get it out of the freezer and you want to keep it on your counter, it can make it nasty that way. But if you were opening a bag and say you wanted to keep it a little bit better, you could certainly keep a couple of weeks worth in the freezer. But I just wouldn't keep it in there for long because things kept in there for long can develop ice crystals. Thank you, Atisha, for asking that, though. It's definitely not the worst thing, and it will keep those oils more stable. Oh, my goodness. That wind is whipping, though. Whew, the wind is whipping out there. Any more questions about pet food storage and rancid oils and all that kind of stuff? Ironically, the symptoms of rancid oils are going to be vomiting, diarrhea, bloody diarrhea even, lethargy, lack of appetite. These are all things that are kind of involved in all this conversation that's going on about Purine and ProPlan. So again, I'm not here to say that there's not a problem with Purine and ProPlan. There very well could be. What I'm telling you is I have not seen any documented evidence of what's causing it. And so, right, as somebody who researches a lot of pet food nutrition and a lot of pet food things, what I like to see is the documentation of where's this all coming from. And the only way to really be able to trace that is going to be to get these foods in to third-party labs that are willing to test the food and to see what could be causing illnesses in these animals. And so that's what's currently happening. I do think there will be results posted and there will be more information. But right now, it's just a lot of collective experiences, and correlation doesn't necessarily mean causation. And so I would hesitate to jump on the bandwagon and blame all these foods when we just don't really have a causation issue. And you know, a few years ago, the same thing kind of happened with DCM, where it became this outcry that grain-free foods were terrible for animals and were causing heart disorders, when in reality, it was a collection bias, a data collection bias that caused all the hubbub and really blasted some foods that really, in the end, weren't causing an issue at all. And now after all this research, we can look back and go, oh, we were really wrong in assuming that. And everybody kind of jumped on that bandwagon. So I just wanted to kind of come on here and address it and let you guys know we are certainly keeping our eyes on the information as it comes out. I'm a member of several pet food nutritional groups and kind of watching all that's going on so that I can report back any information I do learn. And of course, we here don't carry Purina products, and we're always happy to help recommend some of the smaller name brands that we carry and explain to you why we carry them and what makes us feel more comfortable with them. Those kind of things are very easy for us to talk about. And of course, we always believe in adding fresh toppers to your pet's bowl, and always believe in knowing the pet food company that you're feeding and what the ingredients are. So there's my information. If anybody has questions, you're welcome to post them in the chat like Atisha did, and I'll answer any questions you might have. If you're watching this video after I go off live, you can certainly call either one of our store locations, and our staff is trained to be able to help you too. Lindy's saying, I've never stored dog food in other containers. I just seal them back up and leave the scooper in it. Yes, Lindy, that is the perfect way to do it. Storing it in the bag really is the best way. And keeping it in what I would call like the best place to store potatoes and onions in a dry, cool space. So you don't want to store it in a steaming hot garage over the summer. You want it to be kept in like a pantry or something that's more temperature controlled, so it's not exposed to heat and humidity, because that's going to speed up the rancidity of the oils. So, I mean, the warmer that food gets and the more exposure it has to warmth and humidity, the more degradation you're going to have of those oils on the outside of the kibble. Perfect, Lindy. She says it's in a clean cabinet under the sink. That's perfect. Yeah, absolutely. It's just, I think it's one of those things, and I was guilty of it too, before you kind of really consider how you're storing everything. Yes, don't leave the bag open. You want to make sure you clip it back, zip it back. Some of our smaller bags have like Ziploc type zippers on the top, or you take a bag clip and roll it back down and seal it that way. Even better if you have one of those pocket resealers and you reseal it every time. Those are awesome too. But yes, those are all great things. But I never considered, kind of before I got into the pet food industry, I never considered that pet food went bad other than the expiration date on the back of the bag. And I think that's where the real lesson is. The date code on the back of the bag where it says expiration date, that means this bag is fresh, guaranteed fresh until that date. But once it's opened, that date changes. So it's not like you have a year and a half to feed that food. You have 28 days from the day you open that bag to feed that food. But that bag sealed is good and guaranteed fresh until that date. So that gives you a little bit more information and hopefully clarification. If you don't understand the way I'm saying that, certainly let me know. But any bag of food, and that goes for treats too, you really should be feeding them within 28 days. Because again, all of these products have ingredients in them that can go bad. Even if they're shelf stable, they can definitely go bad once air hits them. Well, thank y'all for joining me today. If you haven't gotten your January boxes, you certainly should go online or come into either store location and purchase one of our Bonafactor or Generosity boxes. I'll hold them up again. This is the cat for January. It's the mystery box. And this is our dog mystery box. And the price has been reduced this year and to $19.99 with a guaranteed value of $40. And anything you don't use in the bag, in the box, we encourage you to donate to a local charity. You can either do that by bringing it back to our store and asking us to donate it, or you can take it to your favorite animal shelter, animal rescue, and donate. I'm sure they would love anything your pet's not going to use in the boxes. But they have a guaranteed value of double what you pay. So you're not losing anything by donating the things your pet's not going to use. And next month's theme is a lot of fun. They've already been packed. We've got everything ready to go. And it's going to be a lot of fun and cool stuff. These are great ways to try out new products, to try out things with your pets, to see maybe your pet loves a variety, or maybe your pet is stuck at a rut and needs some new things in their bowl to encourage them to eat. And I was just working with a customer yesterday who was saying she wanted a good pet food that her dog was going to eat because her dog was picky. And so she wanted a good kibble that she could put in her dog's bowl and her dog eat every day. And I said, would you want to eat the same thing every day? And she said, well, no, I guess I've never considered that. I said, consider getting a kibble that they'll eat, but add different things. Give them variety. There's a reason that the statement, variety is the spice of life, was around. We love variety in what we eat, and our pets do too. So we encourage you to add variety, and these subscription boxes are a great way to add variety because you will get variety every single month in your box, and it can be delivered. It can't be delivered for free anymore because the price has been reduced, but if you add on a little bit of stuff to it, the delivery fee is or the delivery threshold's $25 for free delivery. So if you add on just another bag of treats or a bag of kibble, it will be free for you to be delivered to your home. And we do ship them for $5. So if you have a friend that might want to get one of our boxes, $5 is the shipping fee. Okay, everybody. Lindy and Atisha, thanks for commenting and being part of the conversation. Again, if you want more information or more in-depth information, we're always happy to help you. And remember to wash your dog's bowls. Remember to wash your dog's the scoop you use for the pet food. Remember to wash that in between pet food bags. Also very important. Because these things can be what's making our pets sick, and it might not be the kibble to blame. It might be our own fault for misusing and mistreating and misstoring all of the products, because that information is not widely known. So we really, truly appreciate you guys and hope you have a fabulous weekend. Come out and see us this weekend. We have an event tomorrow at Steel Hands from 2 to 7. I'm going to be hanging out a little bit with Nicole. It is a donut event, so who wouldn't want to be there? And then we have our Pups and Pints event on the 25th next week with our friends. I believe it's a Pig Pounder. I need to confirm that, but I'm pretty sure it's a Pig Pounder. And we will be there painting with our friends from West & Co. So if you're familiar with West & Co., April does some really fun stuff, but this is a paint your own pet project where you can come and paint your pet, or you can paint a lovely winter scene. Also another fun thing, but it is going to be a Pig Pounder. It starts at 6 o'clock on Thursday, and we're super excited to be doing that and hosting everybody. If you want to take part in that, the information's on our Facebook page and on our website, but you do need to reserve your spot ahead of time. The cost to participate is $35, and that includes your first drink at Pig Pounder and all you're going to need to paint your pet, except for the picture. So we will be in touch with you guys if you've registered to make sure you have everything you need at that event. Okay, always take a look. If you don't already follow our social media pages, be sure to not only go and like our page, but follow our page so you get updates on what our events are going to be, because we are constantly posting new events. We have lots of fun things going on. Nicole is always out in our community doing events where you can go and get free swag or take advantage of freebies, and of course, our Wheel of Deals. So we love being out in our community. Nicole's doing a great job with that, and we hope you'll go out and visit her at some of these events. So check it out and talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful, warm weekend bundled up outside.